Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Pastor's Library. This is the channel where we talk about everything to do with theology books that might be on a reading list for your seminary course, your bachelor's degree, your master's degree, or maybe just books that you've seen on a Christian bookshelf, be it in a store or in your vicar or pastor's office. Now, whatever it is, we want to try and inform and help you, and certainly we are here to help in any way we can. If you've anything to add or to say or to ask for help on, please leave comments below, and please remember to subscribe. I can't tell you how much that helps us because it helps propagate the channel to other people. So it doesn't cost you anything. All it does is cost you a single click once in your life. What could go wrong? So my subject today is another theologian, somebody who is extremely poorly at the time in which I'm videoing this. Dr. Michael S. Heiser was for many years the theologian in residence at Logos Bible Software. I think he probably did that for about 14 years, which gave him a huge pedigree, huge access as well to study, and he'd already done his doctorate in ancient Near Eastern languages. I believe that was what it was called. But he has a great understanding of biblical Hebrew and similar languages of the day. And he has a big channel on YouTube. You can get him giving access to lots of his ideas. And frankly, his YouTube presentations are very good indeed. I first discovered him with this book, Reversing Hermon. At the time, I had just been reading through the books of Enoch, and I was studying a commentary, which was the Nickelsburg and Van der Kam commentaries in Hermon series. And I discovered a reference to him. And this book talks about Enoch, the Watchers, and what is a very, very loaded phrase, the forgotten mission of Jesus Christ. Oh, the number of books I have seen with the title similar to that. Now, I have to say, when I read this, I almost couldn't put it down. I found it not at all sensational, but I found it very, very helpful. Now, on the back of this, I would say that I had only recently at the time preached through Genesis 1 to 11, which took me a number of months. I, of course, had come to Genesis chapter 6 in it and seen this issue of the sons of God married the daughters of men, and the heroes of old were the result. And of course, I had dwelt on that for a long time in personal study. I had come to the view that perhaps it simply meant that the sons of God were the sons of Seth, and the daughters of men were the daughters of Cain. And that's where I was at the time. But as I read this, I began to switch back to perhaps a more traditional view that the angels had indeed done things they shouldn't have done and weren't allowed to do with human women. And the result were sort of hybrid creatures. You might say to me, well, Stephen, why didn't you have that opinion to begin with? And I would say to you that I did have it to begin with, but I moved across as I studied with time. And then, after reading a lot of Michael Heiser's work, I finally changed my position back again, which I say finally, who knows, I could change my mind again. But for the moment, I tend to find his more traditional reading more convincing. Now, Michael Heiser is very forthcoming with the points that made him recognise this, and the points in time where he had a flash of revelation, so to speak. And so it is very good. So I read this Reversing Hermon, and I thought, I like this. Not absolutely sure that I can buy into this 100%, but I want to read more. And so I read this book, which seems to be his seminal work. If you like, I started with the wrong book. But his seminal work is The Unseen Realm, and its subtitle is Recovering the Supernatural Worldview of the Bible. And his great emphasis is on us trying to share the worldview of the original readers of Genesis and what that might have meant to them, so that we can share it and understand what therefore Genesis might mean to us. So I found this book to be just as riveting as Reversing Hermon, but I found that reading that one, I just wish I'd read it first. It really was a very helpful book. And he goes into all the whys and wherefores of his particular worldview about the counsel of God, and how a group of supernatural beings who are inferior to God, who have to do what he commands, do surround him, and he consults with them, not necessarily for advice, but to get things done. I would just say to you, this is a very worthwhile book, whatever your position on these issues, and it will definitely help you get through studying Genesis chapter 6 and similar Bible verses. So this goes on to be a bit of a series, in that he's got a book on angels and he's got a book on demons. That one I think is his most recent. These are quite affordable books, by the way, and in general they tend to be hardbound. And then there is this one, Supernatural, which is a paperback as far as I can see. It's recommended on the back by John Ortberg. And this is, if you like a cut down version of The Unseen Realm, more straightforward, simple, not quite as academic as the others. All of these others are accessible books written by an academic. So they're quotable, but they are all books that are coming out of extensive study. I would just offer them to you as books of interest. Now, I do have a few other books by Michael Heiser. Interestingly enough, he's got a 2-volume commentary series on the first 2 sections of the books of Enoch, which are interesting. Like I said to you, I think the books of Enoch are not, obviously not canonical. I wouldn't overread into them. But what is quite clear is that the apostles had access to them and they were familiar with them. You can get that from reading Jude, you can get that from reading 2 Peter. There's a definite linkage. These commentaries just help you see a little bit more about these books. These, of course, are also quite reasonable when you compare them with Van der Kam's and Nickelsburg's commentaries with Fortress's Hermeneia series, which are very expensive. These are cheap as chips, so they're a worthwhile study aid if you're going to look at the books of Enoch. Now, he's also written a few other books of more general application. I Dare You Not to Bore Me with the Bible, The Bible Unfiltered, Approaching Scripture on Its Own Terms, Brief Insights on Mastering the Bible, and these are helpful books, and they come out of a time in which he had for many, many years got, I think, the back page or thereabouts in a very popular American Christian magazine. which he had just for years. This one interested me. This is The World Turned Upside Down, and it's finding the gospel in stranger things. Now, if you have a friend who's on about Stranger Things to you, the Netflix show, that will help you have conversations. He has also got a few others here, which are, some of these are quite academic. The Anunnaki Gods, according to ancient Mesopotamian sources. This is a book that you'll clearly have a huge desire for and wonder why you hadn't read it before, he said slightly cynically. This is the Old Testament in Revelation. That book reminded me a lot of Beale's book of similar title, and he does of course refer to Beale in that. This is an excellent book about God's master plan. What does God want? You might say it sounds like a simple question, but if you've spent a lot of your life in church, you might be surprised with the answer he gives. And I have to commend that to you. It's a very, very good book. And I think maybe the last one I want to mention is a Q&A companion for the unseen world. Now, this is not written by Heiser, but it's obviously about his book. He's got one of his students or co-workers to come up with it. And it's a great book for asking questions about the unseen realm. And of course, the idea is that you might have the unseen realm as your book of the month at a Christian book club or something like that. And this Q&A companion is the guidance you need to get you through each chapter. So that's Michael Heiser. Like I say to you, at this moment in time, he is, I read this morning what appears to be his final words on Facebook, in that he has advanced pancreatic cancer and is in hospital now. And whether or not he will last a week, I just don't know. But I am praying for him. I am praying for his wife and family. And what I would say to you is, I am so delighted that I have encountered Heiser's work. I treasure that 2 feet on my bookshelves with his books on it. Whatever conclusion you come to from his teaching, from his work, that's absolutely fine. But you will respect his quality of research, which is without question excellent. This is not a man with cockeyed ideas. This is a man who has simply prayed and studied the scriptures and come up with a great deal of evidence from the original language and from other documents that are of the same age as our scriptures. Heiser has unquestionably added something to our understanding of the scriptures, bringing an ancient Near Eastern view closer to the 21st century Christian position. And I do hope that you will get something from it. And I do pray that his legacy, which is unquestionable, will still have an impact on the 21st century church for some time to come. I hope that's helped you. If it has, please give us thumbs up on YouTube. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. It won't kill you. It will help us though. And thank you so much for listening to another Pastor's Library. Until next time, bye.